Several weeks ago, a company called Bigme reached out to me and asked if they could send me one of their e-readers called the Bigme B751C. Now, I have heard of the name Bigme before. They are a player in the world of e-readers, but I've never used any of their products, so I was definitely interested and excited to get my hands on their newest device. Now, if you've never heard of Bigme before, do not worry at all. They are not as popular here in America, but they are very well established in China and have a growing presence across the world internationally. After doing a bit of research, I also discovered pretty quickly that they are a big player in the world of color e-ink, so they are a company that is worth taking a look at. Now, before taking a closer look at the B751C by Bigme and comparing that to the new Kobo Color devices, I just have to say this up front, it really does not matter which e-reader you use. All that matters is having a reading habit and reading books that you enjoy. Something that's really helped me find accountability to read more regularly is being part of a book club. And I actually have my own nonfiction book club where me and 1,000 other people from around the world read a new nonfiction book every single month. It's been a great way to read alongside other bookworms and have that extra accountability to finish at least one book every single month. If you're interested in joining and being part of the community, it's completely free. Link down below for all the details. Alright, right off the bat, I have to address the biggest elephant in the room. I do not like the name B751C. I'm not sure who at Bigme thought this would be a good idea for naming an e-reader, but it does not sound very good and it's not very memorable at all. I know it's a very silly detail to mention. I don't think I've ever complained about the name of an e-reader before, but it actually does make a big difference. If Bigme named this device something more in line with the Kindle Oasis or the Kobo Libra, I guarantee you they'd be selling a lot more of these things. I really think having a bad name with a bunch of random letters and numbers mixed together is a very big turnoff for a lot of potential customers. Now, putting the bad name aside, I do have to give Bigme credit where it's due. I really do enjoy the external hardware of this device. It looks great. On the front of the device, we have a 7-inch screen with the Kaleido 3 color technology. Now, the one difference between this screen and the Kobo Libra Colour is that the screen on this device is flush. So it is a bit more premium, but you do have that extra layer of glass between your eyes and the text, so you may lose a bit of crispiness compared to the Libra Colour. Now, on the back of the device, we have a very high gloss plastic. Now, even though this is very fingerprinty, I gotta say the premium feel of it is well worth it. I just enjoy holding this device all around. I also enjoy how Bigme took things one step further. The border and the bumper of the device is this silver plastic material, but it almost looks like a metal design. It looks very nice and adds a bit of extra premiumness to the device as a whole. On the front, you're also going to find two page turn buttons that have that same silver finish as the sides of the device. Again, they look much more premium than just plastic buttons. They feel fine. They are very flush with the screen, so I would argue that they aren't as clicky as other buttons I've used, but they work very well. I haven't had any issues with them at all. Now, my favorite feature of the external hardware of this device is the fact that there is zero branding anywhere to be found. I don't think I've ever seen this before in a tech e-reader before. There is usually always some sort of logo or FCC logo or some sort of model number or anything on the device, but this one has nothing at all. It's very minimalist and very, very sleek. Now, one extra thing you might notice on the bottom of this device is the SD card slot. We do have the ability to have expandable storage. I don't think anyone will actually need this who is using this device for reading books, but if you use this device more as a tablet for other apps and whatnot, then this SD card slot might be very useful for you. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to actually using this device, the hardware is great, but the software experience is where things begin to fall a little short. The first thing I'll mention is the battery on this device does not seem to be the best. I had this device sitting around for several days before I had a chance to use it, and normally when I have devices in standby mode on e-readers, they last for a long time, but this one died very quickly and I had to charge it from 0% back to 100 when it finally came time to using it. The second complaint I have about the experience of this device is the stylus. I do like how it does have stylus support for taking handwritten notes, but I am not a fan of the way it feels when you write on the screen with the pen. On my Kindle Scribe, it feels much more like a paper material. You have that bit of friction like real paper, but on this device, as well as Libra Colour, which has the same complaint, it just feels like writing writing on glass, writing on a techie screen, which is not the same experience as writing on paper. When it comes to the software itself, I'm also really not a fan of the overall bloated apps and user experience of the device. When I first got the device, it just looked very overwhelming. Then the software update that immediately happened did simplify things a little bit to be a bit more organized, but there are just random things and random apps all over the place that I don't think anyone will ever be using. For example, there's a very specific feature called meeting records and various AI apps on the device. This device is technically being branded as an AI companion, which I really don't understand why they expect you to use this device in your professional meetings. You put the device down, have it record the meeting for you, then it'll spit out an AI summary. Again, this is a very prominent feature that is right front and center alongside all your books, and I just don't get it. Why would this be an important feature that most people want to use? It just seems like a very distracting feature that I don't want to see at all. Another confusing element of the software is the top toolbar. I really don't understand why the icons are so small, and to be frank, I don't understand what half the icons even do. For example, turning the brightness up and down, or being able to adjust things like airplane mode. Being able to find that control center took me a second, and then it also gets confusing because there's various icons that look like they do the thing you want to do, but actually do something completely different. And I do have one more complaint that I have to mention, and that is the rotation on this device. This device seems like it is designed for left-handed people, which is just fine, but when I put it in my right hand, I expect the device to rotate, and I did check my rotation settings and they are set up correctly, but for some reason there's always a delay when rotating my device. Again, maybe this is a software issue, maybe it's a hardware issue with my specific device, but I always find myself having to wait an extra few seconds for that rotation to kick in, which can get very annoying. Now, one of the biggest upsides of the software on this Bigme device is the fact that it's running Android. What that means is you can download several different reading apps onto your device and not be locked down to one ecosystem. For example, I have the Reader app installed from Readwise as well as the Kindle app, and I love using both of them on this device. Being able to switch back and forth is very seamless. I don't have to worry about being stuck on one library. I have everything available to me on one device. The color display as well is worth mentioning. It's very good. It looks just fine. It's the same Kaleido 3 screen that we've been seeing on other e-readers now, so I do enjoy using it. Now, personally, I do prefer black and white simply because the black and white screens are definitely more crispy to look at. There's less filters between your eyes and the text. Having that Kaleido 3 filter does add a bit of fuzziness to the screen, but it is not very noticeable unless you put it side by side with a black and white device. Overall, if you're in the market for a color e-reader, I do think the Kobo Libra Colour is the better option, but if you are looking for something more like an e-ink tablet for productivity purposes, then this device with the Android software might be a better option for you as well. Link for my Kobo Libra Colour review is on the screen right now. That'll show you all my pros and cons of that device. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.